saying Jehovah.
What's going on, YouTube? How you doing? How you doing? First and foremost, I want to thank everyone for the love and support. And like I always say, I will always be humble and thankful for that. And before we get started, please hit that subscribe button for your boy. And join your boy membership if you can. If you can't, subscribe to my channel. At least do that if you can't join my membership. Now, Africans. What's going on, Africans? Now listen. This video I'm about to play is about this African man. He said that back in the 1930s and 40s and 50s, when immigrants started to come over and go into the black neighborhood, he said black American children was bullying the people that was coming over there. Or he said black Americans was bullying them, right? Or roasting them. That's what I like to say. They were just roasting them. But before I continue, let me let y'all listen to this before I go.
All right, this video right here, I want to share. For those who've been following me, I mentioned on a previous video that I have a mentor of mine who is black American, who y'all consider FBA. For those who are FBA, you would consider him FBA. Now, I call him my uncle, and, he got some years on me. He's been here, for 70 years, let's just say. So he was schooling me on the area of where I'm from. And I was picking his brain because I want to know what was his experience as him being FBA, who y'all consider FBA. He's black American. Wanted to get his experience and such. And I was asking him, like, how was it back in the days when Caribbeans and Africans came about, came around them? But this whole narrative that a lot of you are welcoming, that's not true. Because he himself told me. Just like how you might see the Haitian immigrants come to, let's say, Chicago, your town, let's say Chicago, for example. Some of you are like, wow, why are these immigrants coming over here? That's the same way a lot of you FBAs were at the time, because, he said it himself. At the time, these immigrants, who y'all consider immigrants, they were coming into the neighborhood, same skin tone, but different kinfolk, right? So when they heard them talk, they spoke funny. And for those who follow me, haven't I said you got bullied when you were different? That's exactly how it was back in the days.
Now, before I say what I gotta say, I totally understand how roasting and bullying can affect people, even when they get to adult age. I know adults that are black Americans that was bullied or roasted for certain little things or certain little quirks or smells that they had, and it still kind of affect them to this day. I'm not saying bullying and roasting is a good thing, okay? I'm not saying that, so y'all listen to this, trust me, I understand. But as children say the wildest things, okay? And I think a lot of Africans don't understand that when you come from a different country, you come from Africa, the Caribbean, now wherever you come from, the first thing kids gonna look at is the outer of a person. And if you dress differently, kids gonna say something. Kids gonna look at a little African kid with BBs in their head with a white dingy button down shirt with some green khaki pants and some penny loafers. They gonna look at that like, what the hell is going on with this kid? You get what I'm saying? So kids gonna say something. But keep in mind, black Americans roasted other black American kids. South Florida, for example, when the Haitians came to South Florida in large numbers, black Americans roasted them. Now, from what I heard and from what people told me, a lot of those Haitians came to Florida, South Florida, with an arrogance to them, and like they didn't want to rock with them and stuff like that. So black Americans like, cool, we just gonna roast you. So they used to say they stink. They used to say their hair was nappy. They used to just say a lot of things about these kids, right? But once again, black Americans roasted each other too. And for this man to talk to somebody that's 75 years old and not understand context of children are going to say the wildest stuff. But this is what I think with some of these children. Now, I might be wrong, but I blame the parents. I think some of these black immigrants that came to America, that went to our black schools, I think these parents told these kids about black Americans, like the stereotypes of black Americans. I believe they told these kids, a lot of these kids don't have no mother. A lot of these kids don't have no father. A lot of them on the crack. A lot of them do drugs. A lot of them not in the household. A lot of them don't know who's who in their family. They are poor. They're uneducated. When you go to school, little Butu, you get your education. And when a white person come to you and speak to you, you be nice to them. Don't pay attention to them black Americans. They're bad people. So with all that in the mind of an African kid, what you think, how they going to portray themselves when they get to the school? Kids smell that. Kids feed off that. They trying to talk to a little African kid, and the African kid act like they don't want to speak to him or play with him or nothing like that. Oh, so, okay, we're going to get you. I ain't saying for all situations, but just some, right? They act like black Americans wasn't getting bullied. I got bullied. I'm going to tell y'all a story in a minute, but just give me a second. I got a story about me being bullied, real talk. So, what they don't understand is, roasting is a part of our culture. Sorry, it is. Talking shit, swallowing spit is part of our culture. You got elders that sit up and roast your ass. Talk shit about you. Make fun of what you wear. How you are. How you talk. All it's just part of it. Is it right? Yes and no. Yes, because it builds character. No, because it can break your character sometimes. You get what I'm saying? So I'm not condoning what people have said to these as children to people. I'm not. Have I roasted kids before? Yes. Yes, I have. But I don't carry that with me into adulthood. See, a lot of these Africans and Caribbeans and Haitians and stuff like that, they bring their childhood trauma and make it seem like, yeah, black Americans just treat Africans wrong. Black Americans just treat Haitians wrong. Man, that's all they do, man. Black Americans just hate us. I'm like, wait. So as an adult, you feel like this? No, I'm talking about, man, when I first got here to America, I was in middle school and these kids said so. I said, hold on. So as an adult man or woman at 40 years old, you still harboring that? You still harboring that hate? I ain't gonna even say hate, but that trauma that you that was inflicted on you by kids roasting you. Cool. Let me tell y'all something. Before I tell this story, let me just preface everything. Please don't get offended of what I'm about to say. This is my trauma and my bullying story, okay? So check this out. Back when I was in like 5th grade, right, we had these conjoined twins that came to our school. If you don't know what I mean, the conjoined twins, their heads that's connected together. You know what I mean? It was 2 girls by the name of Jamie and Jasmine. That was their names. So I remember walking to the school, first time, just going to the school, just a typical day. Walk inside the school, walking down the hallway, and I see these 2 conjoined twins. And it scared the living daylights out of me. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm like 9, 10 years old. I never seen nothing like that. It was wild to me. You know what I'm saying? It was wild. So I freaked the fuck out. I really did. I freaked the fuck out. I ran to the office, like huffing and puffing. Couldn't explain to the secretary what was wrong with me. He was like, hey son, what's wrong? I'm like, it's something out there. I don't know if they trying to get me. They said, what's trying to get you? They think it's a stranger danger up in this motherfucker. No, it was conjoined twins that was walking down the hallway with their family and I think it was news crew walking with them and shit. And their head was connected. So I guess a couple kids saw that and saw the conjoined twins also, but saw me up in the office hyperventilating, because in the office it's glass, so you can see everything. So they see me hyperventilating. So my partners in there run in, they think it's something wrong. They don't know what's going on, but they see the conjoined twins, so they run like, Brian, what's going on, man? What's going on? I said, man, it's a monster out there. You don't see them 2 monsters out there? They're like, what you talking about? I said, look. They looked over there. And they look like, damn. They look like, what the fuck? But they wasn't freaking out. I freaked out. Okay? I freaked the fuck out. So, the people that saw me freaking out, they never let it go. They roasted me like a motherfucker, right? I ain't gonna never forget this day. I remember we was coming from the library. You know how you walk in the hallway and you walk in the single file line back to your classroom. I remember the librarian was walking us back to the classroom. So as we was walking back to the classroom, the special needs class, the special ed or special needs class was coming up this way. Man, listen to me. As I was walking down that hallway, I could see the conjoined twins, Jamie and Jasmine, walking towards my way. As I'm watching them, I'm freaking the fuck out because they look like spiders. You know what I'm saying? Like with the legs and stuff, how they were conjoined, they look like spiders, just legs just flailing everywhere. You know what I mean? Reason why I say they're walking like spiders because it's hard to explain, but they can't walk like we walk. They gotta walk in a particular way. You know what I'm saying? And they were just walking, man. I remember that shit scared the living daylights out of me, right? So as we was walking, I'm walking slow, but my partner behind me, and he's like, man, walk up, walk up, walk up. And I'm walking slow as hell. Now the special needs class study coming up. So now I can see the conjoined twins coming my way. Bruh, why my partner pushed me? Now he didn't push me hard. He was like, he did like that to me. And when I jumped, I said, I ain't gonna lie, I did a bitch sound. I ain't bullshit. I did a bitch sound. I just got scared instantly. Right? Everybody turned around. They started laughing at me. The conjoined twins looking at me like, it just kept going. But they made fun of me every day about that. Even though I got in trouble too for that also. But they made fun of me every day about that. You know how that shit used to hurt my feelings? You know how that shit used to bother me? When they say, oh, you scared of Jamie and Jasmine. They used to say all that type stuff. So even though my feelings was hurt, even though I didn't want to go to school some days because I used to have to hear that shit from the people in my class. But at the same time, me as a 43-year-old man, we was kids. We was kids at the time. The problem with these Africans, they can't get over African booty scratcher. We called each other African booty scratcher. And I ain't going to go into the intricate stuff dealing with the guy said because he got something against FBAs anyway. Because it's like one of these rage bait videos about FBAs talking about, because basically he's trying to say is that we didn't welcome the Africans and the Caribbean when they first started coming over here in the 30s and 40s. We did. We did. The adults did. The adults didn't treat them any kind of way. The black American adults thought like, okay, more black people over here that's going to rock with us. Let's get it. The adults didn't have no issues. It was the kids being kids talking shit to each other was the issue that a lot of these adult Africans and Caribbeans and Haitians continuously talk about. Ask them about adulthood. They don't never talk about adulthood on what happened as they became an adult, how black Americans treated them. We never hunted them down. And they always bring up, well, we was getting unalive by, okay, it be street shit. Street shit. Street shit. Okay, well, back in South Florida, they used to jump on us. Okay, that happens. Hey, listen, back in Mississippi, I used to get jumped to by black Americans. I'm a black American, okay? Shit happens. Street shit, nigga shit, it happens. Especially if you go to a black school. It happens. Okay? It happens. Is it right? No. But is it wrong? No either. I don't know. It's kind of hard for me to say if it's right or wrong that does happen. But for me, it made me who I am today. I guess it broke the African spirit or something, man. So, in closing, what are y'all thoughts on that? Do you think Africans are overreacting about the black American roasting? What's your thoughts? Peace out.